The Song of Solomon, also called Song of Songs, is a poetic lyrical book celebrating romantic love, sexual desire, and intimacy between a bride, the Shulamite woman, and her beloved, often identified as Solomon. The book is filled with rich metaphors and imagery that illustrate the beauty, sensuality, and sanctity of love within a covenantal relationship. Let's explore some of the metaphors about sex in this book, along with interpretations from Bible scholars, theologians, and pastoral counselors. Gardens, vineyards, and fruit as metaphors for sexual pleasure and intimacy. Several passages use the imagery of gardens, vineyards, and fruits to describe sexual intimacy.
I went down to the garden of nuts to see the verdure of the valley, to see whether the vine budded and the pomegranates were in bloom. Song of Solomon 6:11. Let my beloved come into his garden and taste its choice fruits. Song of Solomon 4:16.
Garden imagery often refers to the private, intimate nature of love. A garden is enclosed, cultivated, and fertile, symbolizing the sacred and exclusive space where sexual intimacy is nurtured between the lovers. Fruits and vineyards represent the pleasures of love, sensual enjoyment between a husband and wife. The blooming vines and ripened fruits serve as a metaphor for the readiness of the lovers to engage in physical union. C.H. Spurgeon reflected on the garden imagery as a representation of both delight and mystery, likening it to how God's love is both personal and transcendent. Just as a garden invites exploration, so sexual love within marriage should be enjoyed with wonder and care.
The banqueting house and wine as symbols of love's intoxication.
He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Song of Solomon 2:4. Your love is better than wine. Song of Solomon 1:2.
Wine is frequently associated with celebration, joy, and sensual pleasure. Here, the reference to love being better than wine conveys the intoxicating nature of sexual desire and emotional fulfillment between the lovers. The banqueting house suggests a space where lovers come together to feast on each other's presence. In a sexual context, it emphasizes that intimacy is not merely physical, but celebratory, joyful, and overflowing with delight. According to N.T. Wright, wine in the ancient world symbolized delight and satisfaction, much like the emotional and physical satisfaction found in marital intimacy. The metaphor highlights the unifying nature of love that transcends mere physical attraction.
Animal imagery, gazelles, does, and lions as symbols of passion and grace.
Your breasts are like two fawns, like twin fawns of a gazelle that browse among the lilies. Song of Solomon chapter 4 verse 5. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride, from the lion's dens and the mountain haunts of leopards. Song of Solomon chapter 4 verse 8.
Gazelles and fawns are delicate, graceful creatures, often used to describe feminine beauty and sexual charm. This imagery conveys the gentleness and carefulness with which lovers should approach one another in intimacy.
References to lions and leopards suggest the wild, untamed nature of sexual desire. It implies that passion in a healthy marriage can be both intense and exhilarating, yet it is to be navigated within the boundaries of commitment and love.
John MacArthur emphasizes that such metaphors highlight how sexual intimacy is both sacred and exhilarating. There is a balance between tenderness, symbolized by the fawns, and intensity, symbolized by the lions, teaching couples that sex in marriage should involve both affection and passion.
The wall and door as metaphors of sexual boundaries.
We have a little sister, and her breasts are not yet grown. What shall we do for our sister on the day she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build towers of silver on her. If she is a door, we will enclose her with panels of cedar. Song of Solomon chapter 8 verses 8-9.
In this metaphor, a wall represents sexual purity and self-control, while a door represents sexual openness or vulnerability. The speaker implies that sexuality should be guarded until marriage. If the sister is a wall, she has kept her purity. If she is a door, she is vulnerable to opening too soon.
The building of towers and panels suggests the idea of protection and adornment. When sexual intimacy is expressed within the proper context of marriage, it is something to be celebrated and honored.
This passage reflects the importance of sexual boundaries and mirrors the broader biblical teaching that sexual intimacy is a gift for marriage alone, as stated in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4.
the invitation to awaken love at the right time.
Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 7.
This repeated refrain throughout the Song of Solomon emphasizes that sexual desire and love are beautiful, but they must be expressed at the proper time, within the context of marriage. It is a warning against rushing into sexual relationships prematurely.
Tim Keller teaches that this phrase reflects the idea that sexual desire is like a powerful fire. When contained within the right boundaries, such as marriage, it provides warmth and life. But if unleashed prematurely, it can cause destruction. This metaphor reinforces the need for patience, self-control, and timing in sexual relationships. The Song of Solomon uses vivid metaphors to describe sexual intimacy and romantic love in ways that are both sensual and sacred.
The metaphors teach us several truths. Gardens and fruits represent the joy and exclusivity of sexual intimacy. Wine and banquets symbolize the celebratory and intoxicating nature of love. Gazelles and lions highlight both the tenderness and wild passion in marital intimacy. Walls and doors convey the importance of sexual boundaries and purity. The call to wait reflects the need for patience and the right context for sexual desire.
Through poetic imagery, the Song of Solomon affirms that sex is a good gift from God, meant to be enjoyed within the covenant of marriage. This book challenges the view that the Bible is prudish about sexuality. Instead, it celebrates sexual love as a beautiful, God-honoring expression when experienced according to his design.
As C.S. Lewis noted, the Song of Solomon is a reminder that Christian faith does not reject the body but embraces the goodness of creation, including human sexuality. This book gives believers permission to rejoice in their marital intimacy while keeping it sacred, exclusive, and faithful, mirroring the faithfulness and delight God has for his people.